Yep, you guessed it, we're back again with another electric SUV to review, but this one is slightly different, however, because this one doesn't come from the traditionally big OEMs, but instead from South Korean luxury car manufacturer Genesis. Now, you might not have heard of Genesis before, and that's because they only started selling in the UK about 2 years ago. But as with any South Korean car manufacturer, it offers quite a lot of promise when it comes to electric vehicles. And today we're going to be reviewing its first EV, the GV60. Most electric cars these days, especially the ones from South Korea, are very modern and very futuristic, but the GV60 seems to have gone the other way. There's no lines to it, no sharp creases, and it gives off that bubble car feel that the EV industry has tried to get away from over recent years. It's probably most similar to the Ioniq 5 and the Kia EV6. In fact, they're built off the same platform, and you can see a few influences on those cars here, especially on the front, which has that Hyundai Kona styling, and especially from the side, it does have a similar profile to the Kia EV6, just not as good in my opinion. The rear end has quite an awkward, lumpy shape to it, and although there are a few nice details to this car, such as this sweeping roofline here and these wheel arches and also these wheel trim designs, and the wheels come in 19 inches standard and go all the way up to 21 inch, depending on the spec, there's no escaping the fact that this is quite an ugly car, really. It is nice and long, however, and that really maximises the space on the inside of the car, and the interior is where it really comes into its own. It is really nice on the inside of this car. On the surface, it does feel very posh and very premium, and it does go a long way into justifying the price of this car, which I'll come on to in a little bit. First things first, let's start off with the party piece of this car, which is this sort of floating crystal orb sort of thing, which when you turn the car on, reveals your gear selector. There you go. So it is just a little party trick. It's a bit gimmicky, but it's nice and fun. In terms of some of the major parts of the interior, let's start with the infotainment screen, which is really, really nice, actually. It's resisted the urge to follow in the footsteps of some of the other electric vehicles and having this massive sort of iPad-style one on here, and instead you've just got this nice, smaller one up here, which is touchscreen, but you can also operate it with this dial down here, which does make it easier to operate whilst you're driving. The infotainment screen itself is really nice and responsive, and it does support Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but you do need a wire for it, which is really, really annoying. Now, one thing that I do really appreciate about the GV60 is that there are actual physical buttons to control things like your air conditioning, for example. So if you want to just put the temperature up or down, you've got physical buttons there, and you've got physical buttons here as well. Now, one of my biggest bugbears in cars is sort of haptic touch controls and touchscreen sliders and things like that, when all you need is a physical button, and Genesis have given you that. So yeah, that scores big points for me. I'm a big fan of that. As of 2023, Genesis has given you its once optional comfort seat package as standard, and this gives you fully adjustable memory seats which offer you massage functions as well as heating and ventilation as well. Now, having the comfort seat package as standard has bumped up the price of this car a little bit, but it is a nice touch, and if you want to go a step further, there is also an option for Napa leather, which gives you this sort of quilted pattern on the seats as well. But even if you stick with the standard option, it is really, really nice. Now, as I said at the start, it does feel really posh and really premium. On the surface in this car, you've got nice materials up here, and all around, yeah, the materials do feel of a high quality, but if you scratch beneath the surface a little bit, you do start to find a few little things which make you question just how luxury this car really is. Like this thing you can just twist and pull off, and even the materials down here are really like gloss and almost sticky in a sense. Ugh. Whilst, as I said, on the surface, it does feel really posh and premium, they have cut a few corners along the way. In terms of the tech for this car, although it doesn't support Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wirelessly, you do have a couple of USB-C slots down there and a big deep bin there to keep your phone in, and you do also have wireless charging for your phone as well. Now, the Genesis GV60 does also have really good vehicle to load capabilities as well. It's not uncommon for electric vehicles to be fitted with a 3-pin plug socket, which you might be able to use to charge a laptop or maybe even plug in a kettle if you really wanted to. But the Genesis GV60 can output up to 3.5 kilowatts of power, which is enough to charge an electric vehicle. In the back again, the seats are very nice and comfortable, and you've also got a massive storage compartment in front of you. You've also got another couple USB-C charging points there, and you've also got your very own B&O speaker there. And on a sunny day like we've got today, the windows are tinted anyway, but if you want a bit more privacy, you can put that up, which is a nice touch. But my biggest complaint about the backup, that's another one of my biggest complaints. There we go. But one of my biggest complaints is that for a car of this size, there's not a lot of legroom or headroom either. I'm just over 6 foot, and as you can see, I'm a bit crammed in here, and I've not got the most headroom either. And so you think that because it's so tight back here, you're also going to have a massive boot, but you'd be wrong, because if you follow me out here, you'll notice that the size of the boot is pretty poor. It only has 432 litres of storage capacity, which is pretty small in comparison to something like the Hyundai Ioniq 5, for example, which has 527 litres. So for a car that is designed really for families, that is really disappointing, and it is only offset slightly by the fact that you do have a very small front as well. Whilst we've hopped outside, I will show you one cool feature about the GV60, which is the fact that you can unlock it and drive it actually without having to use your key at all. And that's thanks to the facial recognition and its touchscreen capabilities as well. So once you've got it all set up, you can come to the side of the car. I've just thrown the keys over there somewhere. Now, I'm gonna have to bend down slightly because I am a little bit tall, but you might be able to see there's just a little camera at the side of the car there. So all you have to do, bend down, put your thumbprint there, green light comes up, and away you go. So I think it's about time we took this thing for a little spin. The Genesis GV60 is a really pleasant car to drive. It's nice and smooth, and the ride is very comfortable as well, and it also offers a decent performance package as well, with a 0 to 60 time of 7.8 seconds on the standard model and the range of 321 miles too. There is also a Sport and Sport Plus model for the GV60, which gives you an increased level of performance, which basically translates into a 0 to 60 time of about 4 seconds for the Sport Plus model. But I would say that you don't really need that. Considering this is a family electric SUV, you don't really need that level of performance, and I would suggest going for the standard model, which gives you that full 321 mile range. There are also different settings for the regen braking, which can be adjusted using the flappy paddles behind the steering wheel, and generally it is nice and smooth and predictable. There's also a number of good safety features on this car. You've got blind spot warning lights on your wing mirrors, and also when you indicate it, you do get a little camera that pops up on your dash and shows you down the side of the car, which is a nice touch. The lane assist feature works quite well, but this is one of those cars that beeps at you constantly and tells you how to drive and tells you off for doing any number of small things, which is one of the things I hate about modern cars. They can be overly safe, and they can be really frustrating to drive when they're constantly telling you off. So if that's something that annoys you, then I'd watch out for the GV60, because it does beep at you quite a lot. One of the biggest problems for the Genesis GV60 though is the price. Entry-level models start from just over £53,000 in 2023, and that is quite expensive considering it's more expensive than the Hyundai Ioniq 5, for example, and the Kia EV6. If you take price out of the equation, and if money's no object to you, then the Genesis GV60 is a really, really nice car to drive. It's comfortable behind the wheel, it's got a decent level of performance and a nice range as well. The ride is really smooth, so it's hard to complain when you're behind the wheel, but when you factor in that price, then it does leave a bit of a sour taste in your mouth, unfortunately. The GV60 earns a lot of plaudits for its interior, but in terms of its performance and especially its design, it's no better than its closest rivals, unfortunately. That's all for this video. If you liked it, then please do drop us a like and be sure to subscribe as well. For more electric car reviews like this, you can head over to our channel, and for daily news coverage, features and much more, you can also head over to evpowered.co.uk. Thanks once again for watching, and we'll see you on the very next video.